Renuka Devi is an assistant professor at the Department of Statistics, Presidency College, Chennai. Mrs. R. Renuka Devi has done her MPhil from Madras Christian College. She has 23 years of teaching experience and has published one research paper. She has also presented, participated, and organized conferences and workshops on statistics-related subjects.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences. In today's session under design of experiments, I am going to discuss about the following topics: experimental design, phases of design of experiments, terminology used in experimental design, principles of design of experiments, and completely randomized design. First, we will familiarize ourselves with some of the technical terms that are used in design of experiments. Observational data. These are represented by observations on the elementary units of population or of a sample. Observational data cannot be modified or changed by any attempt on the part of investigator while observing. It is difficult to assign cause and effect when we study the observational data. If we are very much interested in the causal relationships, establishing the causal relationships, then we must study the experimental data. In contrast to observational data, we have experimental data that are provided by experimentation. These data are the results from logically designed experiments. Now, we have definition of design of experiments: the logical construction of the experiment in which the degree of uncertainty with which the inference is drawn may be well defined. It is also called randomized group design. And here we have some important phases of design of experiments. We have three important phases. The first phase is called planning phase, where we do planning of the experiment. In this phase, we also decide about the problem, that is, we give the statement of the problem, we decide about the independent dependent variable, that is response variable, the selection of factors and the choice of the different levels of factors. And the second phase is called design phase. So, here we obtain the relevant information from the experiment regarding the statistical hypothesis under study. In this phase, we also decide about the number of observations to be gathered and also the method of randomization to be used and the mathematical model for the given experiment and the hypothesis to be tested. And the third phase is called the analysis phase, where we make a statistical analysis of the data. Here we do the processing of data, we compute the test statistic and we interpret the results for the experimenter. Now, here we have some more terms being used in experimental designs. The first term is experiment. It is a device or means of getting an answer to the problem under consideration. It could be absolute experiment or comparative experiments. In absolute experiment, it consists in determining the absolute value of characteristics. So, here we have an example: obtaining the average weight of a group of people, finding the correlation coefficient between two variables in a bivariate distribution. Next, we have comparative experiments. So, they are designed to compare the effects of two more objects on some population characteristics. So, example: comparison of different fertilizers, comparison of different kinds of varieties of crops, and comparison of different medicines, etc. The first two examples are in the field experimentation and the third example related to the medical experiment. The next term is treatments. Various objects of comparison in a comparative experiment are termed as treatments. So, here we have an example. In field experiments, again, different fertilizers or different varieties or crops or different methods of cultivations can be called as treatments. They are independent factors. We could find the effect of the independent factors on the response variable. And the next term we often use is the experimental unit. It is the smallest division of the experimental material to which we apply the treatments and on which we make observations on the variable under study. And here the example: the plot of a land could be an experimental unit in the field experimentation, or patient could be considered as an experimental unit in a medical experiment. And blocks, if the whole experimental unit is divided into relatively homogeneous subgroups or strata, then we can call them as blocks. And the measurement of the variables under study on different experimental units are termed as yields. That is another terminology used in experimental design. And we have experimental error. Suppose in any field experimentation, a homogeneous field is divided into smaller plots or subplots, and if we apply the treatments to these plots, then immediately we could get the yields. And we could observe that the yields from the different plots will not be of the same, as we all know that the fertility of the homogeneous field or the field under consideration may not be uniform, it is random nature. So, even when we apply the same treatments to all the plots, the yield will not be the same. That is because of the soil fertility, different erratic nature of the soil fertility, that may be spoken in terms of experimental error. So, in any experiments, the error due to random or chance or non-assignable factors beyond human control is known as experimental error, and the experimental error is controlled through the principle of local control, and local control is one of the principles of design of experiments that we will discuss later. And next term is the replication. Replication means the execution of an experiment more than once. In other words, repetition of treatments under investigation is known as replication. And precision, the reciprocal of the variance of the mean is termed as the precision, or the amount of information of a design. So, for an experiment replicated R times, suppose that R is the number of replications, then the precision is given by 1 by variance of x bar, and that is amounts to R divided by sigma squared. Here sigma squared is the error variance per unit. And the next term is uniformity trials. As I have pointed out earlier, the soil fertility is not uniform throughout the experimental unit, it is erratic nature, and we have uniformity trials which enable us to have an idea about the fertility variation of the field. We can also get a graphical representation of the soil fertility in the form of contour map. By uniformity trial, we mean a trial in which the field of experimental material is divided into small units or plots, and the same treatment is applied on each of the units and their yields are recorded. So, using the fertility contour map, we can identify the plots with equal yield, and we can observe that they are close to one another, most probably adjacent to each other. And accordingly, the field can be divided into relatively homogeneous subgroups. Uniformity trials give some idea about the shape and size of the plots to be used. And here we have important concept, that is principles of experimental design. There are three basic principles. They are replication, randomization and local control. The first principle, replication, as I pointed out earlier, it means the repetition of the treatments under investigation. It results in more reliable estimate, that is, when we repeat the treatments, we may get more reliable estimate than is possible with a single observation. And here we have the advantages of replication. It reduces the experimental error. It also enables us to obtain more precise estimates of the treatment effects, and it also increases the efficiency of the design. And the second principle, which is called randomization, and again it is a process of assigning the treatments to various experimental units in a purely chance manner. So, every treatment has an equal chance, same chance of being assigned to the units in the field. And objectives of randomization, the validity of the statistical test, to ensure the validity of the statistical tests of significance, and to assure that the sources of variation operate randomly, and it also eliminates the bias in any form. Next we have local control. This is also we have already discussed, that is the uniform homogeneous plot is divided into smaller plots of equal size and shape, so that we can make the plot into of homogeneous nature of the fertility. Here the process of reducing the experimental error by dividing the relatively heterogeneous experimental area into homogeneous blocks is known as local control, and local control reduces the experimental error as well as increases the efficiency of the design. And we have two important designs. The first one is completely randomized design, and it is the simplest and easy design. In this design, the experimental units are allotted at random to the treatments, so that every unit gets the same chance of receiving the every treatments. Now we will see the layout of the completely randomized design, otherwise called CRD. So we have treatments. Let us suppose that we have V treatments. On the sample observations for each of these treatments, so Y11, Y12, Y1, R1. So the first treatment is being replicated R1 times. So we have Y1 R1, and for the second treatment Y21, Y22 and Y2 R2, the second treatment is being replicated for R2 number of times, and for the ith treatment we have YI1, YI2 and YI-RI. So ith treatment is being replicated Ri times. For the last treatment, that is Vth treatment, we have the observations as YV1, YV2 and YV-RV. So the Vth treatment is replicated RV times, and the total number of observations here is equal to summation over I is equal to 1 to V Ri. If all the treatments are replicated for the equal number of times, then we have n is equal to total number of observations will be RV, and here we have the total for each of the treatments as Y1 dot as well as the mean, and it is represented by Y1 dot bar, and here total for the second treatment Y2 dot and mean Y2 dot bar, and for the ith treatment Yi dot and Yi dot bar respectively. For the Vth treatment, the total is Yvi and the mean is Yvi dot bar. Now here we have the applications of CRD. They are most useful in laboratory techniques and methodological studies. It is also useful in chemical and biological experiments, in some greenhouse studies, etc., where either the experimental material is homogeneous. It is also recommended in situations where an appreciable fraction of units likely to be destroyed or fail to respond. Statistical analysis of CRD. Let us suppose that we have V treatments, and the treatments are arbitrarily numbered from 1 to V, 1 to I and up to V, and let us suppose that each of the treatments is being replicated Ri times. So, for example, ith treatment is replicated Ri times. So, in more specifically, first treatment is being replicated R1 times, and the last treatment V replicated RV times, and the number of treatments also numbered randomly from 1, number of replications are also numbered randomly from 1 to up to Ri. So, the whole experimental material, so suppose that there are n units, n experimental units in our experimentation, and it is divided into R1 plus R2 plus so on plus RV experimental units. The whole of the experimental area is divided into R1 plus R2 plus so on RV units, as each of the treatments is replicated Ri times, and we can represent this as n is equal to, that is the whole experimental area is equal to summation over I is equal to 1 to V Ri. And we have another situation where all the treatments are replicated equal number of times, that is R times. In that case, the total area is divided into n is equal to Rv. Now, we will consider the linear model. Yij is equal to mu plus tau I plus epsilon ij, and let us suppose that this is represented by equation A, and I is equal to 1, 2 up to V, as there are V treatments, and J is equal to 1, 2 up to Ri, as each of the treatments is replicated Ri times. So, here mu is the general mean effect, and tau I is the effect due to the ith treatment, and epsilon ij's are the error effect due to the chance, and they are assumed to be identically independently distributed as normal with mean 0 and variance sigma e squared. So, if epsilon ij is the error effect due to chance, and they are identically independently distributed with normal with mean 0 and variance sigma e squared, and the total number of experimental units n here, as we seen already, this is equal to Ri, summation over I is equal to 1 to V Ri. And null hypothesis, we want to test the effects due to all the treatments is same, that is we want to test the homogeneity of the treatment effects. So, null hypothesis is denoted by H naught. So, we assume that all the effects due to the treatments are homogeneous. So, tau 1 is equal to tau 2 is equal to, and so on, as we have V treatments. The effects due to the first treatment is tau 1, due to the second treatment is tau 2 and tau V, and all these effects are homogeneous. So, null hypothesis is this against the alternative hypothesis that they are not homogeneous. So, H1 is such that tau 1 is not equal to, tau 2 is not equal to, and so on is not equal to tau V. This is the alternative hypothesis, and the parameters mu and tau I given in A, mu and tau I are estimated by the principle of least squares on minimizing the error sum of squares given by, denoted by E, and given by summation over I and summation over j. I is equal to 1 to V and j is equal to 1 to Ri epsilon I j squared, and this is given expressed as summation over I summation over j Yij minus mu minus tau I the whole squared. So, I here from 1 to V and j from 1 to Ri. So, we can estimate by the method of least squares the values estimates of mu and tau I on minimizing the error sum of squares. E is equal to double summation Yij minus mu minus tau I the whole square. Now, let us partition the total sum of squares present in the data. So, partitioning sum of squares. So, the total sum of squares is partitioned into sum of squares due to treatments and sum of squares due to error. So, TSS is nothing but total sum of squares, and SST is nothing but sum of squares due to treatments, and SSE is the sum of squares due to error, and this can also be written as capital ST squared is equal to S small t squared, T for small t for treatments and capital SE square. This TSS is the total sum of squares, and SST sum of squares due to treatments, that is also called between treatment sum of squares, and SSE sum of squares due to error, that is also called as within treatment sum of squares. Next, degrees of freedom. Now we have ST squared, that is total sum of squares, is equal to treatment sum of squares plus sum of squares due to error, and the total sum of squares will have the degrees of freedom as n minus 1. The total sum of squares will carry n minus 1 degrees of freedom, and the treatment sum of squares will have v minus 1 degrees of freedom, and the error sum of squares will have n minus v degrees of freedom, since it is based on the n quantities and subject to v linear constraints. Entire analysis could be given in the form of table called ANOVA table. Now here we have ANOVA table for CRD, that is completely randomized design. Here we have different sources of variation. Sum of squares and degrees of freedom. We also have mean sum of squares and finally variance ratio. So here SS is for sum of squares, DF for degrees of freedom, MSS for mean sum of squares. Since here our objective is to test the significance of the effects of the different treatments. So under sources of variation we have treatment effects, and the sum of squares due to treatments we denote it by ST squared, and error, sum of squares due to error we denoted it by SE squared, and finally we have total sum of squares is denoted by capital S T square. And degrees of freedom, as we have V treatments, we have already seen this will carry V minus 1 degrees of freedom, and total here n minus 1, and error degrees of freedom is n minus V. Mean sum of squares is obtained by dividing the sum of squares by its respective degrees of freedom. So mean sum of squares due to treatments is denoted by small st squared, and it is obtained by dividing capital ST squared by V minus 1 degrees of freedom, and mean sum of squares due to error it is denoted by small s e squared. It is obtained by dividing the sum of squares due to error by its respective degrees of freedom, that is n minus V. And variance ratio, it is otherwise called F ratio. It is defined as mean sum of squares due to treatments divided by mean sum of squares due to error, and it follows F distribution with V minus 1 and n minus V degrees of freedom. Of this ANOVA table gives the entire statistical analysis of completely randomized design. And here we have conclusion. So under H naught, so we have H naught as tau 1 is equal to tau 2 is equal to and so on tau v, that is all the treatment effects are homogeneous. The statistic is given by F is equal to ST squared by SC squared, and we know that it follows F distribution with V minus 1 and n minus v degrees of freedom. This is actually the calculated value. We calculated the F value and we compare this calculated value with the table value for F V minus 1 and n minus v degrees of freedom at alpha level of significance. At alpha level of significance, this could be 5% or 1%. Alpha could be 5% or 1%. If F greater than, that is the calculated value is greater than F alpha V minus 1 comma n minus v. So, the calculated value is greater than the table value for V minus 1 and n minus v degrees of freedom at alpha level of significance, then we reject H naught. We reject H naught. What is our H naught? All the treatment effects are homogeneous. So, if we reject H naught, we could say that the treatment effects are not homogeneous. And if we get the calculated value to be less than F alpha with V minus 1 and n minus v, the table value at V minus 1 and n minus v for alpha level of significance, then we can accept H naught. So, we can say that the treatments are of homogeneous nature. The effects due to treatments are homogeneous. And now here we have the summary of our discussion. Design of experiments. Under that we have seen the definition and we learnt terminology, various terms involved in design of experiments. Also we learnt about uniformity trials and we discussed the principles of experimental design. And analysis of design of experiments, we have analyzed the completely randomized design and the analysis is presented in the form of ANOVA table. And based on our discussions, we have some of the questions to be answered. What do you understand by design of experiments? Define experimental error. Explain the different methods of controlling heterogeneity in field experiments. Explain the principles of design of experiments, give the layout of CRD and give the analysis of CRD. Thank you for listening the UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences.